Good morning, Keep You Friends. Today we are going to do a review on comparing fractions. And when we're comparing fractions, we have to make sure sometimes that we know how to find a common numerator or common denominator. So remember, the number on the top is your numerator and the number on the bottom or down is your denominator. So in this problem here, they found a common denominator of 12. So they had 3/4 and 5/6. So I'm going to rework the problem over here. So 3/4 and 5/6. So these are two different fractions and we need to compare them. So what you need to do is you need to make these have the same number on the bottom or the same denominator. So this says that 12 is the multiple that both of these numbers have in common. And remember, when you're finding multiples, you skip count. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and you keep going. So I'm going to skip count by 6. So 6, 12, 18. Hold on a minute. I found that both of those numbers have 12 in common. So I'm going to change the denominator for both of these to 12. Okay, so how did I go from 4 to 12? What did I multiply by? I multiplied by 3. So remember the rule, whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. So I'm going to multiply this by 3, and I'm going to get 9. So how did I go from 6, 5, 6? How did I go from 6 to 12? I multiplied by 2, so that means I have to multiply this by 2, and I would get 10. So now, because we are comparing 9/10 and 10/12, we know that 10/12 is going to be a greater fraction. So what you need to remember to do first is find a common denominator. And how you find a common denominator is by, you can skip count and you want to use the one that's least common, okay? So 12 is the first multiple that popped up that they have in common. So that is what you're going to use. And then once you figure out the number, you have to make equal fractions. So whatever you do to the top, you do to the bottom. Whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. Okay? I'm going to skip down a little bit. So down here, it says compare 2/3 and 9/12 by finding a common denominator. Write a fraction equivalent to 2/3 with a denominator of 12. So it kind of has it already a little bit worked out for us. So it says it goes from 3 to 12. Because when you skip count by 3, so let's skip count by 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, right? And let's skip count by 12 now. 12, 24. Ooh, what's the least common denominator, or least common multiple? 12. So that's how this problem already has this denominator is 12 for us. And by the way, guys, I am on page 159 in our problem solving book if you wanted to follow along. So, okay, so how do I go from 3 to 12? I multiply by 4. So whatever you do to the bottom, you got to do to the top. I'm going to multiply this by 4, and I'm going to get 8. So 8/12. So now I'm comparing 8/12 to 9/12. And I know that 9/12 is going to be greater. So 2/3 is less than 9/12. Okay? Fraction practice. Okay, so the first one, we are going to do 2/3 and compare it to 5/6. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is find a common denominator. So I'm going to skip count by 3, 3, 6, 9. Ooh, and then I'm going to skip count by 6. So what's our common denominator? It's going to be 6. So I don't have to change this fraction. I'm just going to change this one so it has a denominator of 6. So 2/3 needs to have a denominator of 6. So how do I go from 3 to 6? I multiply by 2, so that tells me I have to multiply this top number by 2, 4. So now I'm comparing 4/6 and 5/6. So I'm going to rewrite my new problem over here. 4/6, and I'm comparing that to 5/6. Okay? So I know that 5/6 is greater. Okay? Number 2. We're going to do 4/10, and we're going to compare that to 4/5. Okay? So what I need to do first is make them have the same denominator. I know that 10 is going to be the least common denominator because it's the least, meaning smallest, common denominator. So do I have to change this one? No. I'm going to change this number. So 4/5. I need to make it an equal fraction with 10 in the denominator place. So to go from 5 to 10, I multiply by 2. So I need to multiply the top number by 2, and I have 8/10. So my new fractions that I'm comparing is 4/10 compared to, we change this to 8/10. And I know that 4/10 is going to be less than 8/10. Okay? Do one more. Number 3. Let's do 3/4. Compare that with 2/3. Okay? Let's skip count so we can find our least common denominator. So let's skip up on 4, 8, 12, 16. Okay? Now let's skip count by 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Ooh, what's our least common multiple? It's going to be 12. So we have to change both of these fractions so that they have 12 in the denominator. So 3/4 is going to have 12 in the denominator, and 2/3, same thing. Okay? So how do we go from 4 to 12? Right? We multiply by 3. So whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. So this would be 9/12. That's our new fraction. How do we go from 3 to 12? We multiply by 4. So that means that this top number we also have to multiply by 4. And 2 times 4 is 8. So our new two fractions that we are comparing are 9/12, and we're comparing that with 8/12. So our greater fraction, 9/12, is going to be greater than 8/12. Okay? Because if you ate 9/12 of a candy bar, you were eating more of the candy bar than 8/12. Okay? So up here, what you do is you just transfer this symbol right back to here, because 3/4 is an equal fraction to 9/12, and 2/3 is an equal fraction to 8/12. Okay? I hope this helps you guys with your equal fractions and your lessons in iReady. If you have any questions, please message me. Thank you guys. Have a great day.